So in this video, we're going to complete exercise 1A in your CAD workbook.
So this is the demonstration for how to do exercise 3E. When we look at the instructions, it says open exercise 3D. So that means that in order to do 3E, you have to have done exercise 3D first. So let's get started. We're going to do exercise 3D. So we have our workbook helper open. It says it's important to use layers. We'll be using roof, wall, window, door, and plants. You can change your snap and your grid settings to whatever you want and turn ortho on and off as necessary. All objects should be placed accurately and all lines must intersect exactly. And then we'll save it as exercise 3D and do some things to turn it into 3E. Okay, so I'm going to start out with, I want my, sorry, these are cut off a little bit down at the bottom. I want my snap mode turned on, and I can change the settings on that by using the little drop down beside it. Right now it's set to snap to every 1/4 of an inch, so I'm just going to leave that like that. I have my grid turned on and off. I'm going to turn on my object snap, and for now the only things I want to turn on, I want midpoint and end point on for now. I might add some more later. And my line weight button. Remember, if you don't have this one, you can find it under customization, line weight. I want to turn that off so that I'm sure that I'm drawing accurately. Okay, so I'm going to start with the walls. It doesn't give us any size that things have to be. So I'm just going to try to make it somewhat close, somewhat similar to what they have here. Oh, and I want to show you a little trick. Right down here, show snapping reference lines. I want to turn that one on. And what that'll do is, see how I'm going across and I don't really know when I'm going to be equal to the line I made on the bottom. If I do that as I'm making my line, I'm not going to click, but I'm going to go down to where that is. I'm not going to finish my line here. But then you'll see as we go along, it'll kind of snap it into place for you and say, oh, this is where you started. This lines up with your other line. And then I'm just going to close that. Okay, so that's my wall. We need a roof, it says. So again, all we're doing with these is we're using line. If I was doing this later on, I'd be using rectangles and some features, some shortcut features. But we're going to do it exactly to what you've learned so far. So I'm going to come, I don't know, out over here, I guess, and up to, this is all just approximate. I'm just snapping it to the grid points, trying to make things line up with each other. Okay, and oh, I can see I already made one mistake. So I'm going to take these two lines, I'm going to erase those because our roof has a little flat section on it apparently first before it angles. Okay, so then we'll put the little angle on it. I don't know, into, I guess it comes inside the house line, it looks like. So we'll come into about here and then connect them. Okay, so we have our roof. Let's do our door. Change to the door line. And see how I have my midpoint snap turned on, so I can make my door. Now I'm just eyeballing this again. If I was doing this later, I would use a function called mirror so that I was sure that the two of them were exactly the same. But for now, we're just We're just eyeballing things. All we care about are straight lines. Yeah, see, that's not even at all, but it's okay because it doesn't give us any dimensions. As long as everything's on the right layers and my corners meet, that's what I care about. So now I'm going to go to circle for the doorknobs. Again, the closer you zoom in, mine's freezing on me. I'm going to turn off my little snap button for a second. There. And I'm going to do another one. Normally I would just draw one of them and copy them, or just draw one and mirror it. Anyway, we'll just go with that for now. I have an extra line up here I'm going to get rid of. Okay, and we want windows, so we want 2 windows on the sides. You guys haven't learned rectangles yet, so I'm not going to use rectangles. I don't know, windows are around here, I guess. And life will get a whole lot easier in CAD once we learn some commands like mirror, copy, etc. But for now, all we're just using lines and snaps. So again, later on we'll learn to copy, so we would just copy that window over, but we're just going to actually draw it. And when I'm putting in my window pane lines, I'm just snapping to the midpoints. Okay, and I can already see something that I did wrong. So I'm going to select these 2 windows because you'll notice I've drawn them on the door layer. I'm going to click the little drop down and I'm going to switch them to the window layer. And then I'm going to change my working layer to window so that the one up above the door turns out properly. So again, if you want to try rectangles, you can. For now, I'm just using lines for things. And these are not even, but that's okay. And turn off my object snaps because it's going to want to just jump to the ends of those lines, and I don't want them at the ends of those lines. There. Okay, and the last thing that we have to add flowers, it said. So let's go to the flower layer, plants layer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Basically we just have 5 little lines here. And I'm going to turn on my object snap so that they all snap to the corner of the house. 1, 2, 3, and I don't want to put it exactly on the house line. Alright, so there's our stems, and then we chose little circles. So we want the center of our circle to be on those, and I'm going to turn that grid snap off again, or else it's going to make them way too big. Okay. And like I said, later on you'll learn copy and a really neat function called mirror. But we're just using what we've learned so far. Okay, and we're going to draw some more over here. 1, 2, 3, and I have my grid snap turned off, like I said, so that I can just draw things wherever I want them. I have my O snaps on though, so that the ends of all my flowers connect. Okay, and our little flower circles. And I should have saved this before I began it and called it 3D, and I should be saving as I'm going along here as well. So make sure you save when you're working on yours. So I'm going to do a save as. And this is going to be exercise 3D. Okay, so that's everything for exercise 3D. So then it says for exercise 3E, it wants us to work with our layers. So exercise 3E, it says instruction 3, freeze the window and plants layers, lock the roof layer, and make layer object your current layer. Okay, so step 2 was make object our current layer. There we go. Step 3, freeze windows and plants. So windows are here. Freeze the window. Freeze the plants. And lock the roof layer. Okay, so my windows and my plants are still in my file, but I can't see them. It says try to erase your roof line. If you have it locked, you won't be able to. So that's correct. Okay, so let's do a save as. Save as. Exercise 3E. And you can send that to the Dropbox.